And welcome to another exciting episode of Riding Through the Unknown. I'm your host, Michael, and today we are starting a little bit earlier than normal as per request for my amazing guest who I have to say I was talking with backstage, and you guys are in for a treat. I am so grateful she was able to come on, and in order to introduce her, it would take a while, and I don't think I could do it justice, so I'm going to allow her to introduce herself, and I hope I pronounce her last name correctly. I'm going to turn it over to the one, the only, amazing, talented Aida Farhat.
Oh boy, can you hear me? Can you guys see me?
We can hear and see you.
Okay, give me just a minute. I'm trying to get this. Hi, everybody. My name is Aida Farhat. I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Michael, for having me on. If you just give me a second, I'm trying to get this also to stream on my YouTube channel. That way we can reach more people because we're going to talk about some pretty awesome technology this evening. If you just give me 1 second, I will be right back.
Sure, no problem. And
your
I will share.
Okay.
I'll just share while she's doing that. She is the co-producer for the 2025 Full Disclosure Now conference coming up July 14th to the 18th. And so that'll be in St. Petersburg. And so we will have the opportunity to talk a little bit more about that. And we'll get into a lot of the work that Aida does. So just bear with us for just a second, and we will be totally getting ready to fill you guys with so much information. And there it is.
Okay. I think it's...
You're connected. I see it.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully that worked. If it didn't, that's okay. So, hi, everyone. My name is Aida Farhat, and yes, I am the co-producer of the Full Disclosure Now conference, working closely with Brian Tseng. The conference is actually Tuesday, July 15th through Friday, July 18th. And then we have our sister event, which is the Day of Being, hosted by Zachary and Sue Fisher. So just to clear that up, I knew you had said the 14th, but it's actually Tuesday through Friday, the 15th through the 18th.
Okay.
That way people aren't down there on the 14th if they decide to join us and there's no conference going on. They wouldn't, yeah. But we are hoping that people will come a day early. We are having an early meet and greet. Brian's got some guests that are coming and going to be part of that meet and greet, which he's posted in some of his Facebook posts and so forth. But yeah, we're going to have a fantastic conference. We have over 30 presenters, and Michael, you'll be joining us and emceeing and helping out with the conference. And we appreciate your contribution and helping out with this. So welcome. We're excited to have you. Yeah.
Thank you. And one question I'd like to ask about the conferences, because there's so many disclosure conferences. Everybody can't go to every one, or maybe they can, but some can't. So those who can't, what would be your draw to choose this one over another one?
Well, I think, okay, so first, I don't want to come off as competitive in any way. I support everyone that's doing this type of work. It's a huge... It's a lot to put a conference together of this scope, this large of a conference. And Brian and I had met at Montauk, where he was supporting some of the Montauk, or some of the people that were using Montauk. And I had went to that gathering in New York, and I met Brian, and then we became acquainted again not long after that, because we with Brian and myself and James Shrink at one point, although he's chose to walk away, and he's now doing his own thing, and I wish him well. But I would say that there's a very personal touch to this conference in that all are invited. Everybody deserves an opportunity to share their story. But what we want is we want presenters that have worked through some of their traumas and moved into healing, where they have some solutions to share with the audience, right? I think it's a process of being a public speaker, and there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. Sharing information that brings value to people's lives, but not only saying this, these are the challenges that I went through and some of my memories and experiences, but this is what I've done to help myself to heal, to become educated and understanding better my own experiences, and having being able to be responsible when we speak to those things, because they could be scary. I mean, it's not a easy thing for people to wake up and realize that they've been used in my lab, or trauma-based mind control, or satanic ritual abuse, so forth, so on. So what makes us different is that we have a variety of topics that topics that we cover, and the presenters that I myself have brought on, and as well as Brian, our intention is to bring people on that can really educate and help others to go through their own process of healing. And some heal, everybody's on their own journey. I often say this, and I'm going to say it again. We never arrive. This is a process. We did not get to where we're at overnight, right, as a collective, and it's going to take time to move us. But the goal is with this conference, and he's got some other things that he'll be announcing at the conference, which I won't share here, but they're exciting, and it will give people an opportunity to really get involved and contribute however they feel is something they're passionate about. They'll, so anyways, back to Brian has a very unique way of reaching people, and I support him in that. He's been very kind and generous and very hospitable to many people in different places, different conferences. He goes to a lot of different conferences to share about our conference and invite people to come and join us as well. And he supports them, and I've gone to a few of them with them. They're a lot of fun. I don't know what else did I answer your question?
You did, and I just wanted to clarify. My intention wasn't competitive. I just was.
No. I didn't. I hope I didn't. No, I didn't mean that from you. Meaning, I don't. We're not looking to compete. Is my point. In any way, we're supportive of other people having their own conferences, their own get-togethers, their own. The goal is to get everybody to come and join as a big human family. That while we may not agree with everything, that we can come together, even with our differences, and be respectful and mindful to, the person sitting next to you may not agree with something that you are bringing to the table or sharing about. It doesn't mean it's right, wrong, good, or bad. Everybody has their own perspective. So,
right. Building community.
Building community. You said it, Michael. That's right. Yes. That's what we want. And it's not just, there's going to be some very serious topics discussed or shared about, right? So it could be scary to some people that may have never heard of, they're they're newly awakening and they're becoming aware. Hey, wait a minute. I don't feel like I'm from here. I may be a star seed from another, dimension, place, and time. They may have past life memories that may be a little uncomfortable because, while we all would like to believe that we are, all love and light and, doing the right thing and really on the trajectory of moving towards source and getting back to our divine nature, that requires a lot of introspection, a lot of healing, and a lot of discipline. And I will say that I've been on this journey for when I had my initial awakening. I had a full-blown Kundalini activation in 2011 and became aware of some past lives, and also realizing that I was being severely targeted, because I was fully lit. I went past the fifth dimension, and all my gifts were online. I was using telepathy. I would be able to manifest things with immediately. I would have a thought and an idea of something that I wanted, and things synchronistically would be in alignment for me to create it. And it was a pretty rapid. Once we get to that place, we all have to be really responsible, right? We have to do some healing and working through some things to be able to be responsible with our gifts. Because if we're still operating in lower, when I say lower, I'm talking about from, say, or our solar plexus is our power center. But if we're constantly in fight or flight, or in fear, or struggling to pay our rent or pay our bills, then we have to do some work. And that's really what it comes down to. We have to move the energy up the body, clear the chakras out, heal what needs to be healed, and really connect our higher heart with our mind. And that takes some time and discipline. Yeah.
And the thing I think that a lot of us forget about when we're going through all of this is we are divine beings, but we are having a human experience. So we're not going to always be shining our brightest, doing we're not perfect.
Exactly. That's right. And I wouldn't encourage people to expect themselves to be perfect, because it's just not realistic. And unfortunately, I will say, there's a lot of love and lighters in our community. And I'm not saying that's right, wrong, good, or bad. I'm not a love and lighter. I'll be clear about that. I am a seer. I'm able to see. I also, more importantly, I pick up energies and I feel into them. And when people are speaking one thing, but their energetic signature is not matching what they're saying, I feel that. I can recognize that. And not always do I speak to it. It's not always necessary. People are going through their own journey, and it's not my place to, but there are times when I, depending on who it is, that I may have something to say, right? And I think part of it is that, we're not responsible for other people and their own journey and their own willingness to self-actualize. And what do I mean by that? I'm talking about when you self-actualize and you realize that you are the creator, the creator, so of your own reality, that you are the person living in the reality, and you're basically, what's the word? There was a saying that used to be said, the creator, the character, and the one that receives the basically, you're responsible and you're creating. I can't think of it. It's on the tip of my tongue, Michael. Sorry. It's
I'm trying to think of it too.
You are in control of your entire reality and your field, your bubble of reality. And so while people can act a certain way, ultimately we're responsible to be emotionally mature and be able to respond rather than react. And I'm not perfect in that. I've been on this journey for a long time, and I feel like you go 10 steps forward, and then sometimes I feel like I'm going 5 back. It's a process. And the more that's uncovered within ourselves that we can bring from our subconscious to our consciousness and understand our own programming and rewrite the script within ourselves, reprogram ourselves for higher octaves of love and joy and abundance, rather than, feeling like the world's coming down on us and we have no influence or no ability to make changes. We can't change other people. We could change ourselves. And when we do, our reality changes because people respond to us differently, right?
I agree. And I even was talking with, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but Dr. Richard Allen Miller, and we were
Yes.
discussing how he sees all these things that are coming. And I was talking with him about it on one episode, and I looked at him and I said, but you said, correct me if I'm wrong, if we change our thoughts, our perception of that event changes and therefore can change what's coming. And he said, you're absolutely right. And so it was like in that moment, I was like, wait a minute, yeah. So all this stuff that's coming that we're getting afraid of is being fed by the fear. If we take the fear out of it, it'll come and pass and probably not do an ounce of what we thought it was going to do. It's almost
I
like,
absolutely agree with you, and good for you for getting him on your show. I've watched him on Carrie Cassidy. Shout out to Carrie Cassidy. She's a big fan of his, and I used to watch him many years ago. I don't watch as much podcasts as I used to. I kind of got my own thing going on, which requires a lot of my own time being focused on the things that I'm wanting to manifest for myself and also my own healing and so forth. I'm not as I don't, but I do appreciate his work. And yes, I think the goal is to get the collective. If, if we all, it's just like prayer. If you get enough people together and all focus on transforming and alchemizing or setting an intention, while some would say that even prayer is a form of magic, that we're wanting to influence something that may have a different outcome than what we would like. I mean, call it what you will. I mean, that's part of being creator beings. We can do that. The goal is to do it for the highest and good of not just for ourselves, but everyone that's involved, that we're in consideration of all that are involved. And yes, I think that's a fantastic thing, Michael. You said it. I mean, and that's part of what the conference is saying, yeah, these are some of the challenges and things we've become aware of. And we know that there's, off-world beings, that there's spaceships in our sky, that there's chemtrails everywhere, that our food, our water, everything's been poisoned. The medical field is completely compromised as far as I'm concerned. We are aware of all these things, the child trafficking, the satanic ritual abuse, the MyLab abductions. A lot of people think that they're being abducted by aliens. It's actually our government, right? Our military is doing it, and they're working with the aliens, so to speak. But so we've become aware of all these things, but at what point do you say, okay, what is it because I used to be way out there, like thinking I had to save the world, right? When I first woke up, I was very angry because I just couldn't believe that I didn't know that all those things were happening, that most of our police forces is involved in the Masons. And I'm not saying all Masons are corrupt and jerks. I don't know all Masons. What I can tell you is that a lot of them are corrupt and jerks, and they're part of the problem. And, I could keep going. I don't want to.
no, and I think you're right. And I think what is interesting is in the metaphysical world, I remember being taught the second you are aware of something and your emotions to it, when you realize what emotions you have on it and you can change those, you can change everything. And so that's what I think we're doing, is we're raising awareness to say, yes, this is out there, and yes, it does seem like something that's scary or, a fearful event. But when we take the fear out of it, it becomes just an event and we can transmute it. And that's one thing I'm working on trying to do with some of my friends that are in the programs is I just woke up one day and was like, hey, why do we always talk about the negative and fearful aspect of it? Isn't there a positive? Because there's a balance to everything. where there's a negative bad, there's a positive. And some of them were like, oh, yeah, I have a positive, or I don't know, does going and helping kids sound like a positive? I'm like, absolutely. And so it's interesting that we're taking, and some of us are starting to take and look at removing the fear of something and turning and changing the perspective to, well, what positives came about of that in your life now? And it's like shifting the energy of it, and it's like transmuting in a way. And I think that's something that I'm like, I'm just surprised by that. It's like, how come no one's ever thought of this before? But it's always someone's got to dip their toe in, introduce, and then it'll take on or it won't.
I think people have. I just think that maybe, definitely. I mean, I think people have probably had those kinds of thoughts of what are the positive rather than focusing on the negative. I mean, I'm definitely a big proponent of that. Or, I recommend people to sit still and get silent in this moment, right here and right now. Are you in danger? Because there's a difference between danger and fear. Right? There are real dangers out there, Michael, for sure. But fear is having anxiety about something that you're projecting into the field that may happen. And it could happen if you're manifesting it in your mind and you're sending it out. Those things may show up to teach you about your fear.
Right.
Once you understand that, right? So it's not, people think, oh, I'll just have positive thoughts all the time and I'll manifest in this, that. No, you have to actualize it. You have to it starts in the mind, right? We bring it in from the spiritual realm, our ideas, our thoughts, and some people get the same ideas and thoughts as we do. I mean, I've heard where Prince said that, or I think it was Michael Jackson said that he had to get a song written because he knew if he didn't get it written and published before Prince would pick up the same song, and then, right, they would be in. Yeah. So we can pick up ideas from the collect or the spiritual realms and bring them in, but we have to also take steps to actualize them. It's not just now there are aspects of ourselves that probably live on, not probably, we are multidimensional beings, but there are places where you can think a thought and manifest it right then, but we're not there yet. We aren't. And I remember when I went through my awakening, being able to manifest very rapidly and quickly. And if you don't know what you're doing or you haven't done healing, that can be a very dangerous place to be. You 0 point out, you self-actualize, you choose at every turn. If it's true that I'm a divine being and that I have the spark of divinity in me and that I'm a creator being, then how do I utilize my skill sets and my gifts to be able to bring value to my life and to other people's lives? And what changes do I need to make so that I can show up being the highest expression of who and what I be?
Right. And one of the things I think that
when you're operating from that place, then you realize that everybody is an aspect of you and that we're all connected and there's nothing separate, right? Most people are in fear of not having what they need, or fear of rejection, or not being recognized or valued, or not being able to pay their bills, which is a real fear. If your bank account's $10 and your rent's $1,000, that could be a scary situation. So, and sometimes life just shows up that way, that we have, scenarios that happen in our life like this, that I don't see as something being done to us rather than for us. So life lessons will show up for us that be given the opportunity to learn how to work through them and to make different and higher choices for ourselves. And more importantly, trust in the universe that everything you need is already provided for you. If you just tap in and sit still and get silent, usually the answers will come to you. Most people second guess themselves and they don't go with that. They don't listen to their intuition. I mean, I remember when I was younger, I would, and sometimes I still can be challenged with that. I'll intuitively know something, but I want it to be the way I want it to turn out. So therefore I'll ignore my intuition, and I still end up with it coming out the way I don't want it to, because it wasn't meant for it to be the way I wanted it. Right? Because there are other people energetically involved. Yeah. So anyways, I mean, we could probably go back. I'd love to come back on and have, another conversation about just self-actualization and really owning and being responsible for all our intentions and the choices that we make and the actions we take to live our best life. Because we can
definitely do that.
Yeah.
And one thing too that I'm sure you've come across is, I love how society, and I use it in the broad terms, I'm not talking any specific society, but I remember growing up and everybody was taught anything to do with shadows is bad. The shadow is not a good space, or don't trust the shadows. Shadows are bad. And when we start to do work and work on ourselves, what comes up? The shadow side of you. And everybody's like, oh, that's my bad side. I gotta suppress that. I gotta get rid of that. And I think that's a disservice, because our shadow side is not a bad side. It's just a side, and we're constantly having ourselves out of balance because we're told, if you're going to be of the light, you got to be light. You can't do dark. I mean, and I think that's one of the things that's hopefully people start to realize is changing, is the shadow is not the bad anymore. It's just a different perspective, and it's there. It's like the natives say, you have two wolves in your hand. One that is your angry side, that's hungry and is going to do this or that and controlling, or you have the side that's peaceful, loving, and which one are you going to feed? They're both there. But which one are you going to feed? And that's where I think we need to get back to, is both are equally important. Which one are you going to put your energy to, though?
I appreciate everything you just said, Michael. So from my perspective, I think the shadow needs to be embraced, loved, and that we need to give ourselves grace, because most of us have grown up, or I won't say most of us, I don't know what other people have experienced. I can say that I grew up in a family that there was a lot of abuse, and I went through a lot of challenging times growing up. And I won't get into that. And maybe another time I'll come on if you'd like to have me back and share more of my experiences in being used in what's called the Super Soldier program, which I would call my lab, augmented. I have AI that runs through my body. I am a Pleiadian, but I came here to have experiences just like everybody else. And I don't think that I'm special in any way, because it's real easy to get caught up in the ego and think that you're, the only one that's got all these superpowers and you're whatever, like all the nonsense. My point in saying that is I had to do a lot of shadow work, and I still do a lot of shadow work. It's always going to be a thing. The thing is that as you spiritually evolve and grow and you become more learned about yourself, we can read all the books we want. Wisdom is gained by experience, not by reading other people's material. And I'm not saying that can't be helpful. You can educate yourself and definitely learn a thing or two from reading books. I love to read. But I'm talking about having your own experiences, gaining your own wisdom, and learning by it. Because really, what is a mistake? It's only a mistake. It's taking an action that is not for our highest and best good. Therefore, we would see it as a mistake, and it's going to continue to be that until we choose something else. Right? So, yeah, So I don't see the shadow as the bad, dark, scary nothing. I see it as the child within, or the teenager, or the young woman, or the young man, the one that wasn't loved, wasn't cared for, wasn't, nurtured. And we as adults have to do that for ourselves. So we're not responsible for the things that happen to us. We are responsible to heal ourselves and to start taking the steps now. I'm 57 in August, right? I feel like I'm just really starting to come of my own, right? Understanding myself and what makes me do or say some of the things I do or say, what my real intentions are, like really just getting in touch with who and what I am, so that I can reach, not so that I can impress everybody and be anything special, so that I can live my most highest expression for myself first. Because when we love ourselves, when we nurture ourselves, and we do kind things for ourselves, we gain respect for ourselves in a much deeper way. And therefore, people treat us differently because we're loving ourselves. And we hold ourselves in a higher, in high esteem, and a higher, what's the word? I can't think of the word. We just, we have higher, not expectation isn't the right word, but standards for ourselves, right? And those are called healthy boundaries. And being able to respect other people's boundaries. All those things, we have to relearn all this stuff, especially if you've grown up in a family where you weren't given those tools or guidance and really how to do that. Or having, being socially mature and how we conduct ourselves and so forth. So, and I'm not talking about putting on an act and acting a certain way so that, because that's not me.
Right.
What I am saying is just show up genuine and authentic and have real true intentions to be your best expression. That's
right. And one of the things that I find funny too is everybody talks about, oh, we're limitless beings. We can do we can do this or that. But then when you ask them, well, can I do this? They're like, well, no, because you're living here. And I'm like, well, therefore, you just put a limit on my limitlessness. And then it's like, I sit there and I look at them and I go, you realize limitless is a limiting thing as well. And they're like, how can that be? And I go to them and I say, well, if you're looking at something as limitless, you're looking at it through the eyes of someone who's limited, because that's the only way you could see it. If it was limitless and you were limitless, you would just see it as is. And they were like, I have to leave and think about this. I'll be back. And so we do get caught up in...
I think as a soul, we are limitless. Like, I think the soul's expression is limitless for sure. But we are here. We're in, I hate to say it, but, it's like I've said before to people, I'd rather, do what you want because then I know what you'd rather be doing, kind of thing, right? Like, I don't want to control anybody. I don't want to take anybody hostage. I want people to do what feels good to them. Even I have kind of like, I don't like to commit to certain things because I don't want to feel like I have to perform or be a certain kind of way. Like even going on trips with people, I don't want to have to get up, and I don't want to take going on a cruise and being on the cruise and going on these adventures. Maybe I don't want to do that. I want to sleep. I don't want you getting upset because I don't want to participate. Right. So my point, let people be who they are. Right.
Exactly.
And, but the soul for sure is limitless, but I don't know that. And I can't speak to it. I wouldn't know whether people have experienced a limitless, because what is that really? Like, do you realize how big our multiverse is? Like, not just our universe, but the trillions of galaxies. And I mean, so I think a fair statement would be, at least from my perspective, is saying that we are creator beings, and that we are not bound to certain laws, other than the laws, meaning of creation, other than what's been imprinted on us. Like, so, but people think they're the ones, everything, as they say, everything's, there's nothing new under the sun. And it's probably very likely that that's a true statement, because we are in a matrix system where everything is ran by numbers and zeros and ones. So scientifically, there's nothing solid in the world. How are you and I on this having this conversation and doing this, right? Scientifically.
Right.
And I believe in science, real science for that matter. But we're here in this physical, because I explain it to people like putting water, which is very malleable. It's connected to the emotions of, right? Because we are conscious beings. We can get, I'll tell you this. I crossed over. I had some serious issues when I was younger and didn't want to be here anymore, and crossed over. And I was still very much thinking. Even though I was out of the body, I still was very conscious that I was, where am I at? And I looked down, I realized I had no hands, no body, nothing, but I was questioning where I was. So I know that death isn't a thing. The body goes, but consciousness doesn't. So my point in saying that is, we could travel in our mind. We travel back in time. We can go forward in time. What we're wanting to project in the field to create and manifest, or we could think about everything that happened in the past that's not even a thing anymore. It really isn't. I mean, you can trace the energy back to a situation and pick up information. That's where remote viewing becomes, an important tool that some are very naturals. I wouldn't consider myself one. But I guess my point in saying that, when you say limitless, we are limited by depending on the level of conscious awareness that we're at until we expand it.
Right.
So I can't really speak to being limitless, because anyways, Michael, I know we kind of got off and started talking about different things, because I have a lot to say about a lot of things, but.
Oh no, I'm enjoying this, and I actually have an interesting question for you. And I think you're going to really love this question. Is a lot of us know that we were in the old ways taught the body can heal itself, and everything we need to heal is within so many feet around us. So if like you have an allergy, go get local honey. If you all these other things, and the everyday life is pushing down on the body and may throw things out of whack. So what are some things that people can do to detox the effects of the everyday world and restore their natural healing and natural body movement?
Okay. You froze a little bit, but I think I got your question. So now, guys, we're going to shift it a little bit. Michael's now asked me a question about healing the body. First off, I highly, highly recommend people to sit still in the morning and get silent just for a few minutes, right? Take 4 seconds in, 6 seconds out, breathing. That balances your left and right hemisphere to help you to be in a neutral, so you're not like doing this throughout the day. It helps you to be in a neutral, grounded space. Eat healthy. Choose, if you can afford it, organic. Wash your vegetables. Take care of, what you put in your body. And I'm not perfect at that. I quit smoking and I start smoking again. So I give myself some grace and I say, okay, that's really the only thing I really do that's like harmful, whatever. And I just say, thank you, tobacco spirit. Instead of beating myself up, because I know I'm going to quit when I'm ready. but really be mindful what you put in your body. Look into holistic modalities. We know that, or I know, being a practitioner, so I own a small business called Soulfull Synergy Detox and Wellness, and how I began doing what I do now is after having taken a flu shot in 2013 that disrupted my neurological system. So I was literally like this. My hands were shaking. It was a toxins overload on my body. And this was after having a full-blown Kundalini activation. And I was very angry because I said no like 1,000 times. And one day I said yes. And I keep saying to myself, from my soul's perspective, maybe I chose to do that so I could learn how to heal myself so that I could teach others to heal themselves, right? You could chelate, you can do parasite cleanses, Ionic Detox, Foot Detox, PEMF Therapy. I mean, there's so many things that we can do to help ourselves. Eat take high quality vitamins, not the ones you find in Walgreens or CVS, or I'm talking about, do some research, find yourself high quality vitamins, preferably liquid if possible, because the body is able to process it easier. It's much easier on the body, and it doesn't have additives, a lot of additives. If you find a good high quality, I am a PEMF certified PEMF practitioner. So I don't know if you could see this with the background going, but this is called a vitality wand. So this, can you see it?
It comes in and out.
Yeah, I'm going the wrong way. This thing, so when on, it sounds like a blow dryer, and it emits terahertz frequencies, so I'll just share. I do have some notes, guys. That way I could, as you see, I'm a little challenge with the ADHD, Michael. So I could go all over the place, and I'll be the first one to admit it. But so I can be hard to follow sometimes. But so PEMF, pulse electric magnetic field therapy, is what I do in terahertz. So I have different devices. This is called a Galaxy G1. It's the only one on the market that's PEMF for eyes. So the only eyewear for PEMF, and what it does is it warms up around the eyes. It warms up around the eyes, and then it pulses. It sounds like a poof, 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 and it's PEMF being pumped, sent to the pineal gland, the octave nerves, into the spinal cord. I have people telling me they see swirling colors, that they're dreaming again. It's very relaxing if you look at computers a lot or you're on their screens constantly. It's very good. This thing is powerful. The device. Go ahead.
I was going to ask real quick, is a lot of people right now are hearing and being told like your third eye has been calcified or the pineal gland is calcified. Would that work at breaking up that? And
absolutely, yes. So sometimes when I'm in between sleep and awake state, and I'm astral traveling or projecting, I can see like there's like this, like this little light, and I'm trying to pierce through to see what's on the other side. And sometimes, like, I've seen cavemen or what are they called? Not androgynous. What's the word? Like just ancient people. I see different stuff. Sometimes I can pierce through it. Sometimes I can't. So now I used to be able to do that much more before. I had a lot of energy weapons used on me when I had my awakening. That's a whole nother story. My multidimensional, when I was in battle multidimensionally, I was severely targeted. That's a whole nother show, and I'll be glad to share that one day if you'd like. But yes, it does. It helps decalcify the pineal gland. Also, doing borax. I don't know if you're familiar with borax, that natural laundry detergent. If you just take a pinch of that in the morning and drink it up. I mean, I remember when I first started doing it, I woke up like I was starving because the candida in my stomach. Everybody has candida. So doing ionic detoxes can reduce the candida, right? Or you want to do parasite cleanses, get oil of oregano, take baths with borax, baking soda, and an essential oil and sea salt. Like there's so many things that we could be doing. And these are loving, kind acts for ourselves. The problem is most of us are constantly chasing life and we're not stopping to say, hey, wait a minute, I need to do something loving and kind for myself. Even myself, now that the conference is so close, I used to do my meditations every morning, and I haven't been doing it like I normally do daily, which is very important to me. I also have, this is called the Vajra and the Bell. So this is the, yep. So this is the masculine and the feminine. So it balances the left and right hemisphere. Oh. That will clear your whole field and balance you. It's very powerful. And then I have pyramids, and I have all kinds of metaphysical tools that I do. I don't know. But I know you said about clearing and detoxing the body, but not just do we need to clean our body out from heavy metals and toxins and parasites and, viruses, different viruses, funguses, all of this stuff. We're living, we have these things just like animals do that we need to clean ourselves out. So doing Ionic Foot detoxes and PEMF therapy is huge. So let me just share with you real quick, Michael, because I know it's getting close and I do have something coming up after this. So I don't want to rush off your show, but I'm just letting you know I need to stick around the 60-minute. But PEMF stands for Pulse Electric Magnetic Field Therapy. It uses a gentle, low-frequency electromagnetic wave to stimulate and support the body's natural healing process. These waves reach deep into the body cells, encouraging repair, detoxification, and energy production. How it works is every cell in the body has an electrical charge. Over time, stress, injury, or toxins can disrupt these charges. PEMF helps recharge the cell, improving their function and health. The main benefits of daily use: reducing pain and inflammation, enhancing circulation and oxygen delivery, promotes faster recovery from injury, supports better sleep and relaxation, improves energy levels and mood. And I can tell you that it's all this and some. My life is completely changed since I've been doing these sessions. I had Hashimoto's. Dr. Sam Musi, some of you may be familiar with her, but she's somebody I used to listen to many years ago. I don't any longer, but she had sold me my first Ionic Foot Detox machine. And she told me, because I kept saying, I don't know what to do. I want to do something to help people. And she said, Ida, once you start using this machine, you see what it does for you. You can then start offering sessions to people and help them. And she was right. So between doing Ionic Foot detoxes, using what's called liquid zeolite, did you by any chance put all my links in your comments?
I put them in the description.
Yeah, okay, that's what I meant, in the description. Liquid zeolite is amazing. Game changer for sure. So if all the links are there, you guys can go and look it up. Getting on liquid zeolite, doing Ionic Foot detox, and then PEMF therapy. Our nervous system, all of us have a jarred nervous system. I don't care who you are, unless you're a monk sitting in a, cave somewhere that's able to regulate their own nervous system. I'm not there yet. I don't know if you are. There may be some. I don't know. That's why people do yoga and try to ground themselves and get more connected with the divine and sit still with themselves. But inflammation is the biggest cause of illness in the body. So it's definitely what we don't want. We want to reduce our inflammation. We want to charge ourselves. Terahertz, this creates new cells in the body. Terahertz penetrates deeper than red light therapy, which I have some information on terahertz as well. So what is terahertz therapy? Terahertz therapy uses terahertz frequency waves between microwave and infrared on the electromagnetic spectrum. Combined with warm, energizing airflow, it is non-invasive, gentle, and deeply penetrating. How it works: terahertz waves resonate at a frequency similar to healthy human cells. This helps remove blockages, stimulates hydration, and promotes cellular regeneration. Main benefits of daily use: supports detoxification at the cellular level. We all need that. Strengthens our immune function. We all need that. Eases joint and muscle stiffness. Absolutely. I am so flexible now, and I have no pain in my body. And that's the truth. And I used to walk pushing on my hip because my sciatic nerve from having a tear in my L4 and L5 nerve root have a tear there. Oh my God, it used to be horrible. I don't have any of it now. And enhances skin health and tissue repair, increases vitality and balance in the body. The benefits for a practitioner: if you're a practitioner out there and you're doing any kind of energy work, or Reiki, or you're a massage therapist, or you're a acupuncturist, anything in that field, these machines will definitely help. And it's great for, I make a decent wage doing what I do. I try to keep my price as low as I can so that everybody can, be able to afford it, because unfortunately insurance doesn't cover this kind of stuff. But there are some people in my group that one of the ladies is figuring out how we can help vets, like veterans that go through. This is great for trauma-based mind control. If you have, what's it called? PTSD. Yeah, it's great. So so benefits for practitioners and business growth: high demand for natural wellness solutions. PEMF and Terahertz therapies align with the growing interest in non-invasive drug-free treatments. And it is Ionic Detox and PEMF therapy is definitely the most non-invasive, holistic approach to cleaning the body out. You can't get better than that. So you could take all the products you want to clean yourself, but you really need, our nervous systems need to be calmed down and grounded. And it's like sticking a phone in a charger to charge up your phone when it loses its battery or loses its charge. Our body does that too. And it's helpful to have technology like this that's all natural and helps you to charge your cells. My hair has gotten so thick. My hair growth is crazy. I'm going to be 57, and I have people telling me all the time, I don't believe you're 57. They think I'm in my early 40s. I'm not.
Yeah, you don't look 57.
So thank you. I appreciate that. So the point is, we could do different things. Just breathing. This is another thing. I think we were going to, and Michael, I'm sorry. I know we're kind of all over the place. I tend to do that because so much goes on in my mind, but so we had the gentleman that created this, the patent holder on this device. His name is Chris O'Connor, and he was at our conference last year. He's pretty amazing. Do you know Chris?
I met him at the GSIC.
Okay. He's amazing. He's a good guy. What a good guy. I really love him. And I bought this from him. So this is called the DEEMS device.
Oh, that's a pretty cover. Yeah.
This is dipped in 24 karat gold, and it has 8 carats of diamond chips inside. And what it does is the diamonds is used as a conductor for the magnet, right? There's a magnet. So the gold side blasts your body with 0 point energy, and the silver side pulls anything that's stuck in you out. So rather than being a conduit for like a Reiki master would be a conduit for the energy coming through and using their hands to work on somebody. This does everything for you. So you don't have to take energy out of somebody through your hands and process and alchemize it and remove it. Well, you could use this. It's amazing. I mean, I use it just putting it up to my third eye. I can feel tingling. If I hold it there, yeah. Sometimes I feel just a pressure or I feel like some tingling. If I do this, I can feel it. It's quite fascinating. It's like this heaviness that you feel on your head. Anyways, it's pretty awesome. So there's different tools and devices I use, Michael. Go ahead.
And one question I have for you is like, my mom has a puppy who is like 6, I think now, and we found out recently one of his knees will pop out of joint and it won't go back like normal. And so we're trying to do all kinds of stuff non-surgical to help him, return to normal with it. And we think he was born with it because he is very agile on 3 legs. So we think we just never noticed when we rescued him. But could any of these devices be used also on our pets and to help them?
Absolutely. That's a great question. Absolutely. So I've used this on my boy Prince, who's out in the living room. I've used the DEEMS device. I've also used when I get on the machine, he loves to sit in my lap because he can feel the frequencies. But if I put this DEEMS device, oh God, this thing. Okay, guys, I can't show you. If I put this DEEMS device anywhere, like he's had irritation in his padding of his paw, or if there's been a couple times where he's not limping, but I could see that maybe something's hurting on him, a certain leg after playing with other dogs. I bring him home. I'll use this on him, and you see his foot, his paw will like jump. He can feel the frequencies of it. But let me tell you, the Vitality Wand, there are a lot of people that are trained working with animals, in particular racehorses. They'll use Vitality Wands or different terahertz devices to work on racehorses in between their races to help with faster recovery in between their races. And I want to train in that. I haven't trained in working with animals, but I plan on it. I want to get certified doing that. So absolutely, yes. These things are very good for them. I mean, the animals are biological sentient beings just like you and I. So there's so many things. Yeah. I highly recommend anybody that's really interested. And the thing is, if you get a machine for yourself, there are payment plans. You can go on my website, have a look. I've had people with Raynaud's that did 3 sessions with me and their Raynaud's cleared up. And if you don't look up Raynaud's, it's not fun. People that have been vaccinated that I've helped to get their body, cleaned out the best I can now. I think it's also, we have to set intention and clean our body out and do serious detoxing. I have my brother comes to me. He's had back surgery and had to go in for a second back surgery because they messed up, and now he's feeling better. I have another one, the one that has Raynaud. She was supposed to have back surgery, and she did. I think it was after like 5 or 6 sessions. She's now walking straight up instead of bent over. And the doctor told her, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. We don't need to do surgery now. Come back in a few months and we'll revisit. So she ended up not having back surgery. She loves the goggles. The goggles are so good, especially when you're looking at computers all the time. So while it seems like, most of this, equipment costs, like the Vitality Wand and the Galaxy G ones are in the $700 range. The P90, the P90 Plus, people can see this.
There
it is. So you put your feet on the plate, you plug it in, and it has level 1 through 20. And then you also have this, which is called a claw that has red light therapy. Oh boy, sorry, I'm not very good with red light therapy that comes out, or red light frequencies and PMF. It feels so good. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then there's one that I only used it once so far, because I really want to learn better how to use the device properly on myself. But it's called a frost wand, beauty wand, that helps tighten up the skin and tighten up, it like rejuvenates your skin to have a more youthful look, and it works. So I don't know what else I could tell you. I mean, people are welcome to go on my website, soulfulsynergy.org, or if you're interested in purchasing your own machine. Now, if you live in Florida, you could contact me. I work in Jacksonville and Flagler Beach, at Allure Day Spa in Flagler Beach. A little shout out to Irina, the owner. She's amazing. They do all kinds of stuff there. And then I have my own office in Jacksonville that I see people on Wednesdays, Friday, and Saturday. And I'm going to be, I want to put a flyer out and help, like maybe have people that are in the military to come in like half off and give them a session and see if they like it. Because so many people don't realize we need these kinds of technologies. Everybody should be doing these sessions. I don't care if you come to me or you go to another practitioner or buy your own machine, but we all should be doing them. Your life will just change. So back to the Hashimoto's. I had got diagnosed with Hashimoto's. I mean, to the point where I just was exhausted constantly. I had no energy, just tired all the time. Like 2 or 3 hours, people would invite me to social gatherings and I wouldn't go because I knew that after being there for a couple hours, I was like, I don't want to be here. I need to go home and lay down. So I would always turn them down because I didn't feel like, I had the energy for it anyways. And it's really, it could mess with your mood because it's tiring to be tired all the time. Like,
Right.
It's emotionally exhausting, mentally exhausting. Anyways, so I started doing the Ionic Detox, but it wasn't until I started doing Ionic Detox, PMF, and the liquid zeolite. And within 6 months, I went and had blood work, and I knew something happened because I felt I feel amazing. I mean, I have so much energy, and the doctor told me, Ida, your thyroid's normal for the first time in over 10 years. And I wasn't taking any of their medication. I wasn't doing any of that. It all has to do with doing these sessions, being consistent, eating healthy, drinking lots of water, so important. And just, even I take 10 or 15-minute walks every day. It doesn't, getting our body moving, stretching, so important. Opening our back up and just taking deep breaths and just raising our hand and stretching our lower back out. Like all of that feels so good to the body. So stretching is important. Yeah. Yes. Michael. Feels good. Yes. Opening up those shoulder blades and getting that right and moving and from the higher heart into up through into your higher mind, which I call your super genius, right? And just be in that space of feeling good, because when we feel good, we treat ourselves better and we treat each other better. It's so true. Who wants to walk around being a jerk all day, or a woman that's miserable and always unhappy? Like, I can't be around people like that. I like to joke and have fun, and I'm super affectionate, and I like to have enjoy myself. But there's times to be serious, yes, but we need to be lighter. We need to have more fun and laugh more. Laughing is the quickest way to get your frequency to go up. Or playing high frequency music, taking salt baths, cleaning the body out. There's some crazy stuff. I don't know if you see, like, nanotechnology is part of our bio. People, I don't care. People could talk about we can do detoxes and help ourselves, but I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it was started. They started this so long ago that I don't know. Yeah. But I say yes, we should take care of our body, but when you connect in and you connect with the soul or the heart, you know that you're not the body, that the body is the vehicle to carry the soul. Therefore, you treat it well, and you love, for being gifted the opportunity to be here and to have the human experience and to learn and grow and expand, but not to get so attached to that reality and not knowing that you are in multidimensional place, that you're in many places at one time, and that this is just one expression of the huge soul that you have. And when you look at it from that perspective, and you let go of fear of death, knowing that you can never die even if you wanted to, because the soul is infinite. And anyways, I hope you enjoyed the conversation with me, Michael, because I think about these things often. I contemplate, I sit still. I always at night, I take time to think about my conversations and the people I've engaged. And if I say anything, I want to say that we are all amazing beings. And I don't care, even the darkest of the darkest still will find their way back to the light at some point. Right?
Exactly.
And yeah. And it doesn't mean we have to condone and like what's being done, but we can, by shining the light on it, exposing it for what it is, and understanding that judging and, I understand righteous anger. I think there's a place for it at some point, but when you move past that and you just realize that everybody is here, everything is source, even the dark is part of the expression of source, right? So, and we've all been the villain, we've all been the savior, we've all been the different expressions, different, in different lifetimes. And that if we can just focus on our own healing and correcting our own behaviors to be the greatest expression of ourselves in the here and now. Don't try to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect. Be authentic, be genuine, reach out if you need help, and trust that you'll get what you need, right? One step at a time.
I agree. And I like how Shakespeare put it best as the world's but a stage and we merely the actors. Mm-hmm. And when you think about it that way, it's like, yeah, we're all here just playing a role and we're doing the roles. And like you said, the more authentic you are, the easier to do your role and the easier life will be, because I feel like when you're not authentic, you're constantly stressing yourself over, okay, what did I tell this person? What did I say to this person?
And I don't have time for any of that. Never. Yeah. Yeah. Because we want people to see something that's just not who we are. And it's so nicer just to be yourself, right? And right. One of your audience members said, stay human. Absolutely. We need to connect back to our humanity in a big way and realize that, we are being given the opportunity to grow and spiritually evolve in a way that hasn't happened in thousands of years, right? And it's affecting everybody differently. Everybody's responding to it or reacting to it differently. Some people are having awakenings and has no idea what the heck's happening to them. And that's where those of us that have already experienced our main awakening, we have an opportunity to say, I understand it can be scary and so forth and so on. And you're going to, these are some tools that I use to help me get through it. And you can too, because dark night of the soul is a real thing, right? Because we think it's out there somewhere, that it's the government, it's everything else but us. We never think that, what part did I play in this? Where did I give my own power away? What were the things that I did to not only hurt other people, but hurt ourselves, to forgive ourselves and choose love at every turn for ourselves. It's so important, not an egotist going, oh, I love myself and I'm, no. I talk about genuinely having real love and kindness and compassion and empathy for our fellow brother and sister, no matter what color, creed, race, religious choice, none of that. Because all those things happen only here. As you go higher, you're not, it's a different expression, soul expression. Sharing our experiences means supporting others in their awakening process. Yes. Thank you, Polly.
Yes, and I'd love to keep talking with you more about this, but I know you've got to go because you got other things to do. So thank you for coming on and being on my show, and we will definitely have you back on to, it sounds like, at least 3 more episodes we could do.
We could probably do that, Michael. Yes. Yeah, and maybe I'll be a little bit more prepared. Please forgive me, guys. I have so much going on with the conference and getting things. I mean, I don't think people know what is needed or required in order to be able to have a conference of this size. And it's a lot of planning and preparing for it. But we're going to have a great time. And I hope everybody that's watching the show come to the conference. Come join us. You'll have a blast. And we're having the Day of Being, which is 2 days after the conference, where we're going to hang out on the beach, cook out, play music, right? And connect with other. Is that Polly? Am I saying that right?
It's Polly, yes.
Yeah, Polly. Yeah, thank you so much, Polly. You have to come join us.
Well, Polly actually is watching us from Jerusalem.
I'm Palestinian. Yes, that's interesting. I'm half Palestinian, Polly. Nice to meet. She probably knows by my name that I'm Arabic, but I'm half Irish, Scottish, and half Arabic. So, anyways,
I'm just what they call a mutt. I'm a
mix of everything. I think we all have. Yes, I primarily have Arabic, but my mother is Scottish, Irish, and I understand there's German even in there, but I don't know. My brother just told me my grandmother was fully German, and I don't remember that, but I could be wrong. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful night, those that have joined us, and that will be watching in the future. Check out my links, see if there's anything in there that you think. Even the liquid zeolite is a great start. It's like $35 a month. It'll get you cleaned out. Your blood work will come back amazing. You start on that, I'm telling you, you'll have more energy. You'll think clearer, everything. It's so good. I love it. And I don't recommend anything I haven't used myself. My newest thing is Phix, Phix. It's hops. And I do sell that too. I don't know if I gave you that link, but I'm an affiliate. So I don't recommend anything that I haven't used that I know works and that's all natural and organic. I don't mess around. So we need to keep ourselves as natural and organic as we can, considering all the stuff we have coming at us.
Yeah. I love my audience and everyone in the chat room. Polly has said she knew by your name, and she goes, love to meet you. And
I would love to meet you too, Polly. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay. Well, everybody have a blessed, beautiful evening. Thank you for having me on the show, Michael. I appreciate the opportunity to come on here and chat with you for a bit. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person at the conference. And guys, you can go to fulldisclosurenow.org or fulldisclosuremovement.org if you're, or check out on Facebook, Full Disclosure Now conference. If anybody decides just last minute, I want to go and I want to come meet some starseeds and people that are like-hearted and like-minded, you're more than welcome. We invite you to come, and if not this year, we're going to have a fantastic conference next year. So, yeah, hopefully you could come out and join us.
Yes, and I will say one thing. Do check out.
I will send your greetings to Brian, Polly. I'll make sure I say that. Tell him. Yes.
Yeah. Check out Aida on Cosmic. Is it Ruh?
Ruh, which means spirit, Arabic. Ruh. Roll your tongue. Ruh. It's not Ru. It's Ruh. I probably still don't say it right. Polly probably knows how to say it right, though. She probably, yeah. Riding through the unknown.
I was putting a link up to the website.
Oh, the full disclosure. Okay, great. Yes. And then if you could put my show, well, I haven't done any interviews in so long, but I probably need to start doing it again. after the conference. I'm taking a break from all that right now. I just have to because like a real, yeah. Nice, Polly. I'd love to meet you, Polly. Yes. Okay. I have to go. You guys have a great evening. Thank you again, Michael. And yes, let's do it again. I'll be a little bit better prepared. Yeah.
Oh, I love how it went. I think it went in divine right order. I'm not a stickler for. I like when it has tangents, so no worries on that. And I look forward to the conference and meeting you there and hanging out and having you back on. So until then, everyone have a wonderful day and a blessed 4th of July to everyone.
Yes. Thank you. And likewise, Michael. All right, guys. Thank you again. Have a great evening. Take care.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.